Good anytime, my fuzzies, to a quick review of a game I just finished. All opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, so just please enjoy and don't take them too seriously. Thank you. Good anytime, my fuzzyites, and welcome to a quick review of Evil Dead: Hail to the King. As I always do for these quick reviews, I just kind of give my opinion on it. I go through different sections of the game, talking about, or different aspects of the game, talking about it, give my overview of who would like this, what they can improve if it's a bad thing, and whatnot, and go from there. So, let us start with, as always, how I feel overall with the game, I guess. Overall with the game, it's not the worst game I've ever played. You know, when you understand the combat, which is god-awful, it's the only thing in the game that needs to be revamped. Everything else is pretty good. The story is interesting. I like Ash as a character and some of the other characters you meet. It looks, like for a PS1 game, it looks really good. Like I said in my gameplay of it, if they took this whole concept of this game and made it into an animated movie, it would be really good. I would think it would do really well, because the story is interesting and whatnot. But, so, overall, fine game if just the fighting was better. But they do at least give you things to keep you going, so you're not just screwed completely, but you're basically screwed. So, as always with these quick reviews, we are going to start with the story. The story of Evil Dead: Hail to the King. At 8 years after the events of Army of Darkness and that horrid night, Ash, plagued by nightmares, wants to figure out what's wrong or get rid of them, something like that, so he's going to head back to the cabin. His girlfriend, I want to say Jackie? Her name's said like 2 or 3 times, but she's captured. So at the same time, it's like, yeah, she's there, but she's also captured. Oh. Hello, Chainsaw Cody. Just doing a quick review of the game. What's her name? Kicking it. Sometimes they actually come. Rotting. Experience. Mortis. Jenny. Her name is Jenny. So, plagued by nightmares, Ash wants to go back to the cabin to figure out how to stop them or whatnot. Love Hail to the King so much. Great game. Love the story. Love the characters. Combat is atrocious. But with the story, Ash is plagued with nightmares, wants to fix it by going back to the cabin, seeing if he can. He's joined by Jenny. They get there. His hand activates the same machine that, for some reason, they didn't dispose of the record the last time, but whatever. Setting off more Deadites into the area, and unleashing Bad Ash from the mirror. So Ash goes around the area, getting the Necronomicon pieces and whatnot, pages and whatnot, to help a priest, who says he can put everything back. But in the end, after getting all the pieces, the pages, and the Necronomicon dagger, there's some fun boss battles. Oh my gosh. Atrocious is an understatement, but dang, nostalgia got me. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Everything about the game is good, but the combat. And I'll get to that. But after getting the priest the things, going through a church, getting the dagger, he is surprised to find out that the priest is evil Bad Ash, who opens a portal back in time. He gets sucked in. Bad Ash has Jenny, so he must go around. Where the heck is it? I might as well just keep this out. Doomstick. It's like the 9th century. Would fear. Should show him, right? Mad Poet, Azir of Damascus? But anyways, taken back in time to where the book, the Necronomicon, was originally being translated into a different language, which then got translated to English later. And through funness of going around and whatnot, they in the end end up confronting the Bad Ash, destroying him, and getting home, only to find out, haha, sheep's gone down still. So overall for story, it's good. I like it. It's Evil Dead. There's a Bad Ash. He's trying to get him. His girlfriend's taken immediately. It always happens. No matter who's around him, they immediately die, and he's the only one alive. But the story is so much Evil Dead. Like I said, I could see this being an animated movie, being good, and doing pretty well. Because the story is intriguing. You get to find a new facet of the lore that you don't from the movies, being the guild and more of the Dark Ones. You go into their world for a bit. It's okay, you don't see much. It's your general dark world, but it's still good. You have the antagonist of Evil Ash. Again, the story itself is really solid, and I would love to see it used again. I do consider it, unless another game in the series, like, counteracts it, or even if the TV show that I still need to watch for stream for a watch party counteracts it, we'll see. But the story is good. I like it. If there's anything about this that I would do again, is at least watch the cutscenes. But yeah, the story is good. I think if you like Evil Dead, this has a lot of the good campiness. Just, hey, we're doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff, but we're going to make it look cool stuff to it. It works. It works to continue the story of Evil Dead. Going on to characters, you have Ash, of course. You have Jenny. You have that one guy who wrote the book, as well as Bad Ash and the guild. Bad Ash. Being Ash isn't bad. What's his name? I really should just keep this out. So I look back to it for nice. The Mad Poet, Alzir, and the Dark Ones. But going for Ash. Ash in this one, yeah, he is how he is. He's cocky. He doesn't want to do stuff, but he knows he has to, and he reluctantly goes for it. He wishes people would help, and he'll sass the hell out of them because they aren't helping him. Like, it is good. It's Bruce Campbell. It does seem like Ash would do this. Little weird, like, yeah. Getting there and whatnot, I understand. But it goes with it. Ash is both simultaneously very stupid and not paying attention and doing stuff and whatnot, but also he does make the right calls, and he's smart enough to literally speak a language he's never spoken before fluently. Like, yeah, it's Ash. It's Ash. Could do with a little more quips and whatnot, but I feel like it. Like, again, if I just saw these cutscenes without knowing anything else, coming from a game, I'd be like, yeah, it's just a low-res animated movie. It's pretty darn good. And it would be nice. It is nice. Jenny is kind of your run-of-the-mill damsel in distress in this. There's not much to say. She's there just because Bad Ash needs to sacrifice her or use her or something like that. That's it. It's a means to an end. They love each other, but there's not much there to really be like, oh yeah, Jenny, her main points of interest are X, Y, Z. Bad Ash is just Ash but bad. He wants to set the world on fire by unleashing the things. He's just there to be the bad entity that says some cool things every once in a while, and is just doing stuff to be bad. Not bad, but again, it's evil. It's just evil. You could switch it out for a cult leader or whatnot, and you wouldn't change much about him. But being Bad Ash, it is interesting because you have that dynamic. Besides that, you have Algiers, who is the one who wrote or translated the book into whatever language they speak in that area. I apologize if I don't know. And he's gung-ho about, we must stop this, we must go, let's do this, but I won't help you. I can't, I have a bad knee injury from getting shot there years ago, or whatever BS reason you'll accept. So, but you get to learn more about him, the area he came from in the book and whatnot. So it's interesting. Again, though, he's kind of just there, not a bad thing, but he has at least a little more to do than the others and whatnot. But overall, he's a fine addition. I could see them, if they made a TV show or an animated movie, fleshing him out a bit. And yeah, for other characters, you have the guild or guide, whatever, who are trying to summon the Dark Ones back into the world. They're kind of there. They're cautious of Ash because he's the prophesized one who will come and stop this. But again, they're kind of just there as a plot point to further things, helping out Bad Ash until whatever happens to them. But yeah, you don't really get to know them personally, but they do give tidbits about the world. They look interesting and whatnot. But overall, for characters, again, just like I've said for the Evil Dead movies, while they're very interesting, somewhat interesting characters, it's just a means to an end. You need to have stakes, so you have the girlfriend there. You need to have a villain, so why not have the bad version of Ash? The contrast there, which could have been done better, but still you get the good and the bad. You have the guild there to add more to, oh yeah, there were followers of the Dark Ones who wanted to bring them back. Like, it is all a means to an end to tell the story, and that's not a bad thing. I like Evil Dead because it's the good the catchphrases, the awesome things they do, build, and whatnot. There's so much to it that is outside of the characters. From Evil Dead 2, him having the scene where he's going crazy with everything in the room laughing at him. It's still my favorite scene of any of the Evil Dead movies. It just shows the transformation of him going crazy, and it's such an interesting, amazing thing, and I like it. Army of Darkness 2, they take his car and they put like a giant blade on it so he can cut things up. That's cool. Practical, no. But I don't care, it's amazing. He's going around cutting up skeletons. A lot of these characters are a means to an end. That's all they're there for, but they get the job across. Like I said, the girlfriend Jenny has to be saved. She's going to be sacrificed. You have Algiers, who wrote the book. That gives you more information of the book's past. How it came to be. A little more of the land before everything went on. Bad Ash is just the badness. So, like, if you want just means to an end's characters, with Algier being a little bit better, yeah, it's fine. It serves its purpose well. They all sound good as well, voice acting wise and whatnot. So it is good. The settings of the game, you start in present day of the story, whatever, 8 years after Army of Darkness, where you have the cabin to go into, you have a mine to go into, there's a camping area, there's a labyrinth, a church area, hillbilly area, and other smaller areas. So, like, you feel like the area is bigger. It takes a while to walk around to everything, so you can see, like, why people just didn't go from A to B while still having stuff close to interact with. The hillbilly area has a lot of corpses, hopefully mostly animals, and whatnot. The hillbilly enemy, while they're not really a main character, they're still interesting to look at, I guess. There's a lot of good character designs in this. Good enough. But yeah. So you have those settings, and they are unique. It's interesting having hillbillies, which is a reasonable thing to assume in the woods that there would be hillbillies in the country. You go to the church. Yeah, I could see there being a church out in the middle of nowhere around the cabin, maybe. Kinda not, but, you know, it adds to the darkness of it. You have to go there to talk to the priest. The campground just gives you more enemies. The Deadite kids and the Deadite the scout counselor or leader and whatnot. And then after you do everything in that area, you get sucked into Damascus, where again it's another very old city. It reminds me of movies like Aladdin and whatnot, so maybe it's Middle Eastern-ish area. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am wrong, I apologize for assuming stuff like that. But it has a different style of building, a different style of decor that looks nice. It's beautiful. It's really well done. Again, the settings in this area are nice to go through and see and interact with. They feel like, yeah, I could see there being a hillbilly house in the woods, and that's what it'd be like. Here's a church with mausoleums and whatnot. That makes sense to me. There's a trapdoor under the church that leads back to the cabin. That's a little weird, but okay, maybe Dr. Raymond, Professor Raymond, Professor Doctor, built a thing there so we could talk to his friend and also have an escape way. Maybe, but like, it's still fine. Overall, for the settings, there's a lot of variety to it. There's a lot to look at, a lot of differences. It's good. It's believable. I like it. The settings is really good. And then we get to, unfortunately, what brings everything down, being the gameplay. Like, and to be clear, the only thing that really sucks about the gameplay is it's nearly impossible for you to dodge attacks. Everything else about the gameplay, having the chainsaw that you can turn on to do more damage or keep off to just attack. You have the axe for, I guess, more reason to attack. You have the various different firing arms that you can upgrade later. You find items to heal you, like not potions, but medicine, or just random food items that can also heal you. You can find you can find fuel, like moonshine, or whatnot, that you can turn into more fuel for your chainsaw and whatnot. There are mushrooms on the ground that can be transformed into healing items as well. There's also the fuel mushrooms as well, can be used to make fuel. All in all, it works well. There's health you can get. There's other random things that they didn't need to do that. Everything could just be medicine. Either a large medicine pack or a small medicine pack. But no, they go out of their way to make like beef jerky, sausage rolls, a sandwich, stuff like that. Jam. So it makes it more unique. So it's like, yeah, you don't just find the random medicine to help you out, but you do find stuff in the world that was used. It's neat. World building. You also find text in the game that gives some detail more about either the Necronomicon, some of the areas around you, what's coming up next. And they do seem nice. They add flair and whatnot. But again, and even the main premise of this game is it's a puzzle adventure, basically, where you go around areas, you collect item A that you use on item B to get you to area C. Like, one of the first things in the game that you need to do to progress, really, is you go into the labyrinth to find a random lawnmower there, and you take the pull cord so you can use it on a generator at the hillbilly house. So it's one of those puzzle games where as you go and do things, more things unlock, which gives you more things to do. And like, the puzzles aren't that hard. You have a shovel, you have to dig. You have a crowbar, you open things up. You have a pull cord, generator, crank, primitive item. A lot of that works. It makes sense. It's not one of those games where it's like, okay, you have flour. You have a flower. So if you go to this painting and you rub the flower on the painting, because of chemicals that are on the flower, words will appear on the painting. Like, and that's a tame example. There are way worse examples that I know of games where it's like, yeah, You have to do this, this, and this that you would never think of doing to get the outcome. But no, it's nice, it's streamlined, it's not the hardest thing in the world. But again, the one thing that bogs it down is when you're facing enemies, you either have to back away and shoot them, like for some bosses, or just run straight into them and with the chainsaw on, attacking all willy-nilly and healing when needed. There's no, like... There are some bosses where you have to hit pillars and whatnot, or activate certain things in a certain order to win, which is at least nice, it gives you variety. But majority of them is, hey, I'm going to run right into this enemy and keep attacking until they are dead. Oh, I'm almost dead? Heal up. And again, everything else about this game is amazing. It's just not being able to dodge. If there was a thing where they do a sound and you could, like, dodge back or whatnot, that'd be fine. That'd be good. I'd like that. That'd be fine. Give me a chance to get out of there. But because there's not, it just feels like a brute force thing where I kill them fast enough and then I move on. It's the one thing about the game that I would change. All they have to do is, if they want to keep tank controls, keep tank controls. But have it where you can use a button, and there is a free button. There is a free button in L1, I believe. Let me check. Maybe it was something I did not know. L1 button. Sidestep. You could sidestep. Okay. Never used that because I didn't know about it. But just make a thing so that you can move and whatnot. And especially one game mechanic that I love that is not needed at all is just a taunt. You press a button and he does a quip. It's fun. It adds to his character. It is his character. Again, overall with this game, the combat just needs to be better. It feels like I just brute forced through all the bosses, and they looked cool. There's a lot of cool enemies, concepts, and bosses. But when all I have to do for every boss is walk into them, fling my chainsaw hand, right hand, fling my chainsaw hand around until they die, healing up when I get low, it just loses it. Not to mention, there's some attacks that even if you're doing something, it'll hit you no matter what. Overall, to fix that, just give a dodge button. Let the enemies do a little, like, wind-up attack before they go. Brah. Poof. Something, so that you know, oh, he's gonna attack, now I move. Like, but, again, everything else about the game is amazing. I loved it. It felt like an Evil Dead thing. But, just the combat. And I've already said about it. So, we'll move on to the final thing, being a game in the Evil Dead series is Legacy. And how does it stack up? As it should be clear by now from everything I've said before, but it does a good job continuing the story of Evil Dead. Like I said, if they took this concept and instead of making a game, but instead they made a animated show of it, or even at the time, just do an actual movie of Evil Dead, Hail to the King, I think it would do really well. The story stands up on its own. You get to learn more about the Necronomicon and its past, which an animated show would be able to go more into that. You have interesting looking enemies, amazing looking bosses, and just, yeah. It works really well as an Evil Dead game, in my opinion. And if they made an animated movie, it would be great. Fantastic. Beautiful. So overall, if it's not clear, the game is amazing, with the only bad part about it being the combat. But like I said, all they would have to do if they reintroduce this into the world, if they want to keep the sidestepping thing, or if they want to keep the tank controls, that's fine. But add a dodge button. Or at the very least, because you can jump backwards, have it so that, and you can sidestep already, just have it where the enemies will wind up before they attack, or they'll make a sound before they attack. Because as is, if I'm going at an enemy, very few enemies have attacks where they go blah and then attack. I think the only one that really did, there's a few that did it, one being the flying, like, just torso up ghost things, which did a acid attack that you could see coming from a mile away. And there was a boss who would do like a power move to hit the ground, and he would go up and then back down again. But again, for both those enemies, I just run into them and attack and hope I can find mushrooms and whatnot to heal later. So overall, I recommend watching this game. As sad as it sounds. Like, the combat isn't too god-awful that you could just write it off, never play it, it's broken and whatnot. It works in its own way, but it doesn't work in a way that makes it fun, if that makes sense. Because, like, yeah, you got the attacks, you have the weapons, you have the guns, and whatnot. But, again, if I play a game and I just feel like, well, this isn't me using my own skill to get away from the enemy, it's just me using my skill of healing at the right time to get going. Like, but I've gone long enough. Beautiful game. Really well done. I cannot wait to play the other ones, because I know the only other game, well, I've played Fistful of Boomstick, which I think was a really good game. I liked it. You do time travel in that maybe as well. Renegade I never played, but Evil Dead the game I have played, but I think there are new missions I never played, so that'll be interesting. But overall, I would love a remake of this, either being a movie, an animated movie, or if they redid it, just change the combat. Everything else is fine. Everything else is fine. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed me giving a quick review. And I will see you next anytime. Take care.